Two of the highest profile progressives in the country, Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, are in Kansas today, and they're going to be giving some speaking engagements and rallying in support of a candidate. That candidate joins us now on the show, Brent Welder, who's running in Kansas's 3rd district, the Democratic primary. Welcome to the show.
John, you should be here with us, buddy. What the heck, man? We totally rolled out the red carpet for you.
I wanted to go. I made the case, but unfortunately, it's difficult. It's difficult. So much to do here. But thank you for joining us via Skype. It's great to have you on.
Are you kidding me? I would walk to the end of the earth for you guys. You have been doing so much great work for 10 years. I think when I saw you a couple of weeks ago in LA, I ribbed you. I think I've been a member of the TYT Army even longer than you have.
I think that you might have been.
But thank you for your support, and more importantly, for everything you're doing for our country. You guys are amazing.
Thank you.
We have so much momentum right now, and wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you guys in the TYT Army and all progressives and working people around the country that have been pitching in to help out in this tremendous effort here.
Well, thank you very much. I definitely appreciate that. In case people might not be familiar with you and your race, you are a lawyer. You're a former Missouri delegate for Bernie Sanders at the 2016 Democratic National Convention, an activist in your own right on a number of important issues. And so now, later on today, and so thank you again for taking time out, especially on what has to be a very busy day for you. Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they're doing, I believe, their first big joint appearance to rally for you. And I want to talk about what that means for you as a politician and what you're going to talk about and all that. But before we get to that, as a progressive, like this is your first candidacy as a TYT member, what is it like as a person that those two individuals are coming to speak in support of you to get you into government?
It is unbelievable. I don't know if there's any two more inspirational leaders of the progressive movement right now in this country. I had a chance to speak with Alexandria a couple times over the last few days. We had a 40-minute conversation the other day. And I am just so tremendously honored. And I'll tell you what, we are really looking forward to teaming up when we're in Congress on important legislation. I mean, whether it's Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage, immigrant rights, finally ending the corrupting influence of big money in politics. And we were talking about the fact that I bet it's been a long time, if ever, that a congressman from the Kansas 3rd district has teamed up with a congresswoman from the New York 14th to get something really accomplished. And we're feeling good. And I will mention, if any of your viewers want to help us out to accomplish this here in Kansas, they can go to tytkansas.com. We're 3 weeks away from a primary election, and I'm running against a bunch of center-right, corporatist type so-called Democrats here in the district. And if we beat them, I am beating our Republican right-wing incumbent, Kevin Yoder, by 7 points in the polls. And we are going to prove to every single person in this country that progressive policies are not just good for the people, but it's the way to win in every district in the country, including right here in Kansas.
And interestingly, while Kansas went for Donald Trump by a good bit, in your particular district, Hillary Clinton actually received 1 percentage point more of the vote than Donald Trump, which if you're Kevin Yoder, the Republican incumbent, that has to make you a little bit uncomfortable. Now, he did get an endorsement this week from Donald Trump. Do you believe that, especially this week, is that going to help Kevin Yoder? How vulnerable is he exactly?
The answer is no. Let me put this in perspective. Well, first of all, the reason Donald Trump endorsed him is because he just secured $5 billion for Donald Trump that Donald Trump wants to use to build his border wall. If that tells you anything about my opponent. But who else just came to our district last week was Vice President Mike Pence. And the Trump administration is trying to pay Kevin Yoder back for all of the favors he's been giving them. But guess who didn't go to the Kevin Yoder fundraiser with Mike Pence?
Who's that?
Kevin Yoder. Because he knows that Donald Trump is not popular. The Republican Party policies are not popular. In fact, the National Party is tracking 85 swing districts in the country. And Donald Trump's negatives are 3rd highest in my congressional district right here in Kansas. This is one of only 5 Republican-held districts in the country that was won by Hillary Clinton in the general and Bernie Sanders in the primary. He won with 60% of the vote. We are going to be able to do this. Now, the only way I'm going to be able to do it is if your viewers and everyone out there goes to tytkansas.com and chips in any small dollar amount that you possibly can, because we have this huge primary in 3 weeks. We're in a dead heat for first place right now. But I'm telling you guys right now, and we've seen what a progressive victory can do to fuel the progressive movement, to get the establishment to understand what we're doing here. When Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez won a couple weeks ago, and when we do it in Kansas, I promise you it will change everything. So I really need people to go to tytkansas.com and please, make as generous of a donation as you can so we can finish out these last few weeks of the primary here.
I wish that I was as diligent with plugging our Streamies nomination as you are with plugging TYT Kansas. So I want to ask you about that, the progressive movement in these primaries we're experiencing right now. So you had just a few weeks ago, Democratic Socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wins big. Almost no one predicted that she would. And ever since then, there's been a lot of editorials saying, okay, maybe these policies can play in the Bronx, but come on, not in the middle of the country. Well, you're in the middle of the country, and many people have pointed out that populism was really birthed in that sort of area. So what do you think? As you're going around campaigning, you've already mentioned a number of different issues. How are these policies going to play in Kansas?
In 2016, I was so immensely honored that Bernie Sanders, when he got to choose approximately 50 people from across the country to help write the National Democratic Party platform, that he chose me as one of those people. And the first thing I did was I wrote an amendment, because I had been a Wolfpack volunteer. I'm dedicated to getting big money out of politics. I wrote the only amendment at that meeting to say that as a party, we need to ban corporate money from politics, get the corrupting influence of money completely out of politics once and for all. And I also, before law school, was the national field director for the Teamsters Union. These are blue collar, middle-aged, middle-class truck drivers. And what I have found is that the big underreported or almost unreported story of this election is that the real swing voters here are the people that voted for Barack Obama and then Donald Trump. And I'm telling you, these are not the Republican country club types that the Democratic establishment wants to kowtow to and thinks that, that's the pathway to victory. These are working people. They're just like the Teamsters that I organized. When I organized them, we were able to get them to vote for Barack Obama by talking about populist, progressive economic policies, wages, benefits, protecting their pensions. And we can bring them back to the Democratic Party. But I promise you, the only way we're going to do it is by talking about bold economic principles. I go to all these union meetings. I go door to door and talk to working families. They love Medicare for all. They love $15 minimum wage. Are you kidding me? They love getting the corrupting influence of big money out of politics. Why do they want their corporate bosses buying politicians? And these are the people that we are bringing back. I am so immensely confident that we are going to win this election. We need to win this primary here in a few weeks, tytkansas.com. But what we've proven is that, think about this for a second. I am in Kansas. I'm the first candidate ever to run on a platform that includes $15 minimum wage, single-payer health care, debt-free college, and I have a 7-point lead on the Republican incumbent, the biggest lead of any Democratic challenger in the country. We just need to make sure to get through this primary so we can do that, and it is going to fuel this progressive movement like no one could ever imagine.
Well, look, I'm really looking forward to the rally later on today. I believe it's 5 p.m. local time it begins?
Doors open at 5 p.m. Central. The rally is scheduled to start at 6. You know how those things go. We'll try to keep it on schedule as much as possible. I hope everyone will be watching on the live stream. I think TYT, I think we're going to try to set it up so you guys can do a live stream. We'll also be live streaming on my Facebook page. Hey, why don't I give a plug to my Twitter account too while I'm here, at Brent Welder, Brent with an N, Welder like the job. But thank you for having me. And please, please, if everybody can go to tytwelder.com, we got to make sure to be able to fully fund our volunteer program that has just been like so amazing after the momentum we've been receiving with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders endorsement. And thank you so much, John, and everyone over at TYT for the great work that you've been doing for over a decade to take the case to the people that we really need to help the poor, the working class, and the people that don't have a voice in this country.
Oh, thank you, Brent. Thank you for joining us on what has got to be an exciting and very busy day for you. Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, it is. All right, thank you so much. Talk to you later.
Thank you so much for watching that video. Before you move on to the next, I just wanted to let you know I have a documentary series out. It's called True North, available on Go90, and now you can help get it nominated for a Streamy as a documentary series. The link is down below. Thank you so much.